It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Folks, today I want to discuss the print industry's crashing multiples. Valuations going through the floor. The industry's actors saying, oh my gosh, the high cost of money, the high interest rates causing multiples to crash. That is one of the components, but it's sure as hell not the only one. I'll share some thoughts on that. I also want to discuss Gamut Capital and Dex Imaging, as I believe Gamut Capital and Dex Imaging are the only buyers coming for the mega deal of Rollups that are owned by private equity. And I believe Gamut Capitals and Dex Imaging is reevaluating the strategy. I mean, when Dex Imaging left Staples, we all thought they were going to buy someone already. We heard the rumors they were going to buy Novatech. Then people were saying, well, Novatech's got IT, they're changing their strategy, all kinds of things, all kinds of rumors out there. But ladies and gentlemen, I believe what Gamut Capital and Dex Imaging are doing is they're reevaluating strategy so they can balance debt with reality. Our industry's going through a big old storm. It's a perfect storm. All kinds of things came together creating this perfect storm. We had a global pandemic where businesses all over the world shut down their offices, put all their people remote, and realized they could get work done without copying and printing a whole bunch of documents. Businesses all over the world realized we can navigate information behind glass, keep it in a digital landscape, and get work done. Businesses all over the world realized they didn't need to be oversold and overspec'd an A3 machine. They could buy an A4. Businesses all over the world realize they don't have to do a 5-year lease on an oversold and overspec'd machine that's prematurely upgraded in 3 years. They could just pay cash for the A4. Businesses all over the world are evaluating right now. Is inkjet a better technology? Will we have a better experience than laser? So many things are changing. But you know what's really creating the industry storm? Value proposition out of alignment is the biggest component of the print industry's perfect storm. The industry's actors have a value proposition, and they believe that value proposition is in alignment with the end users they service and support. And I don't believe it is. I believe the end users, the industry services and support, they have a value proposition for our industry. And it's nothing like what the industry thinks it is. The industry has to change. Because when value propositions are out of alignment with the end users you service and support, you'll spend way too much money to deliver something to an end user that's not even appreciated. It'll be those actors in our industry that will cut the cost that its competitors are afraid to cut. It'll be those actors that understand we have to reevaluate our strategy and we have to cut costs that our competitors are too afraid to cut. And as we cut these costs, we have to bring ourselves more in line so that our value proposition matches that of our end users. And whoever does that will win. You can make money in a declining marketplace. Can Dex Imaging and Gamut Capital be those folks that could do that? Who knows? But I believe they're the only folks that are going to try to do it. Folks, I saw this quote out there and I want to share it with you because I just think it's awesome. It was written by C.J. Gustafson, tech CFO writer behind Mostly Metrics, and I'm going to share more of this guy's content because it's fantastic. This quote is fantastic. Listen to this. So you float in this zone that's neither interest nor disinterest, but rather irrelevance, which is actually the worst place to be. So you float in this zone that is neither interest nor disinterest, but rather irrelevance, which is actually the worst place to be. Folks, I believe the print industry is actually in a zone between disinterest and irrelevance. We're in a zone between disinterest and irrelevance. Investors are kind of disinterested, and they're basing that disinterest on the future of the industry, business printing, which a lot of folks are thinking is kind of an irrelevant industry. And the industry's actors, when they find themselves between disinterest and irrelevance, they better do something damn sure about it. They better figure it out. They better lower the cost their competitors are unwilling to lower. They better figure out how to deliver a better experience based on the value proposition that customers will live with and love. Because they can't overspend to deliver something into the marketplace their customers don't even appreciate. Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen all the roll-ups before. I got them circled there. I got an X through Visual Edge IT because Visual Edge IT I'm taking off the table for the purpose of this conversation. Because I believe Visual Edge IT will have multiple people that could buy them, because I believe Visual Edge IT will be sold off in a liquidation format, changes the game. But when you look at Novatech, you look at UBO, you look at FlexPrint, you look at Marco, those are the players. Private equity-backed mega dealers that Gamut Capital and Dex Imaging could buy. And they're the only ones that are going to buy them. But they have to balance debt with reality. When I think about Novatech, I think about a company that probably has a high cost to deliver in the marketplace because they sell a lot of IT services. They claim they do. When I look at how they claim they sell IT services, I get a little bit concerned because I think they're selling IT services the way the industry's been selling IT services for 10 or 15 years. And I don't believe that you can build a robust IT services deliverable, scalable, 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, $100 million company by selling IT as a commodity or building IT lifestyle business. I just don't believe you can do it. And I think that's probably what Novatech is kind of doing. UBO, they don't do any IT services, but UBO probably has a lot of debt. You know, UBO bought a lot of businesses up. If the multiples are crashing, if Dex and Gamut go to UBO to buy them, well, they're not going to pay more money just because UBO has debt. They're going to pay the multiple the market will live with, right? And maybe UBO is saying, holy crap, well, we can't do that. If we do that, we won't even be able to cover our debt. There won't be anything left over, so we're going to sit and wait. When I look at FlexPrint, I don't think FlexPrint has a whole lot of debt. They haven't really bought anybody in a long time. But FlexPrint's owned by Oval Partners, and Oval Partners has another asset called New Charter. And I believe that FlexPrint's owners, Oval Partners, would sell FlexPrint at a low multiple just to get rid of it. Let's get rid of this so we can focus on building up New Charter and IT services roll-up that's going to give us a greater multiple. Because everybody would admit, if you're building an IT services company the right way, you're going to get a pretty good multiple when you sell it. A lot higher than you are in the print business. So I think FlexPrint's owners, Oval Partners, are kind of sitting there really, they're having some tough conversations, I'm sure. But in the end, I believe they're going to take a lower multiple and just sell the thing off so they can focus on New Charter. Marco, owned by Norwest, it's been a long, long time. Marco's got this big IT piece in there that, you know, Dex Imaging really doesn't want that IT piece. You know, Dex Imaging, if you can figure out how to buy Marco, spin off that IT piece into its own business, and then when you go to get Novatech, you can take Novatech's IT piece and dump it into Marco's IT piece as a separate company. Or, I think the easier thing to do, and I said it before, go to Norwest Partners, say, look, we will buy that print piece, and here's what we're going to pay you for it, and we're the only buyer out there, so you better sell it. And take that IT piece and sell that off to CoreLogic. As you know, Norwest owns a company called CoreLogic, which is an IT services company inside their portfolio. But ladies and gentlemen, if you think about what's on the board right there right now, I think the buyer and the seller that are going to come together the quickest, based on this logic, is Dex Imaging and FlexPrint. I think FlexPrint has got to have some motivation to sell, or the owners of FlexPrint. And I think that could happen. And we'll see. If Visual Edge IT, in fact, ends up in some kind of liquidation, well, Dex Imaging could obviously gobble up some of that. But right now, balancing debt with reality is going to be tough for a lot of people, especially the status quo. And if you end up sitting on these investments, you got to figure out how to pay down that debt, increase those EBITDAs. The only way you're going to do that is to make sure your value proposition is not out of alignment with the customers you service and support. What's the value? What's the debt? Is it upside down or right side up? More important, what is defining the value? How are you defining your value? Whether you're a roll-up or whether you're just a copier dealer up down the street, how are you defining your value? Are you a commodity player collecting low revenue accounts? If you're in the IT space, are you running around collecting low revenue accounts? Just selling what everybody else sells? Or are you out there looking for high revenue contracts, generating a marketplace differentiator? I've been telling all my friends that are in IT, you better move upstream. You better go after those big accounts. You better have the intellect to be able to sell a fee-based assessment. You better have the ability to say no to every contract under 10 grand. You better build a business that's worth somebody buying. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see some pressure in the IT space too. And those valuations are going to lower themselves. The world's changing. And an industry becomes extremely disrupted and very, very vulnerable when their value proposition gets out of alignment with the end users they service and support. Folks, I shared with you back in September of 2022, stop chasing revenue at all costs. And I shared that with you because that's what Orlando Bravo said. And we know that Orlando Bravo understands private equity. He understands investments. Stop chasing revenue at all costs and focus on profitability. I said it again. I screamed it again to you in 2023. Our industry must focus on profitability now more than ever. And we must understand what we can cut in cost. And we have to align our value proposition with how our customers see us or need us or want us. I want to end once again. So you float in a zone that's neither interest nor disinterest, but rather irrelevance, which is actually the worst place to be. Just some things to think about, my friends, because we all know this. Status quo is the killer of all that will be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.